Hey, please like and subscribe on YouTube. It really helps my channel. I play really good content. I would greatly appreciate. Let's make a handshake right now. Like and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you can get the next content that comes out. We're gonna watch Dana White, I think, has eroded. When he first started the UFC, I remember him saying, "Oh, we're not gonna have, pay-per-view events. We're gonna, have the fights free for the public." Well, sure enough, that changed, and pay-per-view went up from $30 to $70 to $120. I mean, he just keeps climbing. He just can't make enough money, and it's gotten to be where an average fan can't even go to a UFC fight. You got to have spend a lot of money for 2 or 3 seats at the UFC, and really any seats. But Dana White is got a flop fight card. If the fighters aren't entertaining and the fights aren't really good and the fighters aren't charismatic, the fight card's a flop no matter where you play the fight. So let's listen to Dana White, a little bit delusional about how he's putting on the best modern day sporting event in sports history. That's not true at all.
On all that stuff than all this other MGM or what they're doing or who's fighting that night, and that is what it is, and we'll figure all that out after this event.
So once again, absolute mega event. Already 20 million invested into this Sphere card, and it costs $1 million every time they just want to do a test run. Right, that's pretty insane. Now let's listen to what Dana White says on this podcast about the Sphere event.
The Sphere is the star of the show. It's well worth going. Anybody who comes in town, you have to go to the Sphere. I haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah,
check that out. But
it's the closest to virtual reality I've ever. You feel like you are literally somewhere else. It's
awesome.
Incredible.
It's awesome. It really is awesome. That's why I went and saw the U2 show. And like I said, they're using this much of the capabilities. I'm going to use this much.
Okay, so right there, Dana said they're using this much of the capabilities. I'm going to use this much.
I'm going to put on the greatest live sporting event anybody has ever seen.
The greatest live sporting event that anyone has ever seen.
And what happened was after they did the show and people started looking at it, they're like, this is cool for concerts, but you can't do live events here.
So when you say you'll unlock more of the capabilities, what in what terms?
All right, so you're sitting here, right? And you're watching the show, and you're watching the show in English.
Yes.
He's sitting in that seat. He can watch it in Spanish, French. The speakers are aimed directly at the seats. There's so many things that you can do.
I mean, okay, that's great for the fans and the non-English speaking fans. But what about us at home? Especially us here in the UK, who are staying up till 7 a.m. just to watch this, in all honesty, piss-poor fight card, which we'll jump into in a minute. But you can have all these little extra amenities and all these little extra features like, he can listen in Spanish, he can... About the fact that Dana keeps saying, we're going in during Mexican Independence Day, Mexican, tribute to Mexicans, Mexico, all that. Well, first off, why is it in Vegas? Why not just put on a card in Mexico? It feels almost like Dana has just put this event on in Vegas and just says, it's Mexican Independence Day. We'll get a few Mexican fighters on our card. Wait until you see what fighters are on there. It's crap.
And so I'm going to tell you this too.
A Mexican fighter in every fight? Is that what that means? Is that
Yeah, well, there'll be tons of great Mexican fighters on there, but not everybody will be Mexican.
Tons of Mexican fighters on there, but not everyone will be Mexican. So let's take a look at the card right now. Here we have the main cards, non-Mexicans for the main event. Okay, pretty strange. Alexa Grasso, Mexican. Okay. Brian Ortega, he's Mexican, but he's American. Diego Lopez, Brazilian, right? Could be Mexican. Somewhat looks Mexican. He's definitely got that, what's that word? Omniracial? Biracial?
Good. I like him narrating. I'll let him narrate.
Racial ambiguity. That's the word I'm looking for. Racial ambiguity, where you kind of look like you could be multiple different races. So he's kind of like a pretend Mexican. I love Diego Lopez, by the way. He's an absolute boss fighter. I'm looking forward to seeing this fight. This is a rematch. So bring on that fight. I'm loving it. We got Ryan Garcia. Not Ryan Garcia. Daniel Zellhuber. Who the hell's Daniel Zellhuber? When he's at home in lightweight division. Esteban Robovics from Argentina. Who are these guys? Okay, I've seen Esteban before. Lightweight bout. You see that they're already clutching the straws for Mexican fighters. Where's Yair Rodriguez? He's the biggest Mexican draw right now. Who else we got? Ronaldo Rodriguez. Alright, okay, he's got the same second name. once again from Mexico. And then we got Irene Aldana. Oh, I don't know. We got Manuel Torres, you know what I mean? Yasmin, who are they? Don't know these. Edgar Charilles. And don't forget, I'm not like a pure hardcore. I am right in between a high-level casual and a low-level expert. I'm right in that middle sector. I'm also just a fan.
Fight card's a train wreck. I don't even know who these people are. And I don't know if it's like it should be on the undercard of the main event, but yet this is on the main event card, which we don't even hear of half these fighters. I don't even know who the hell half they are. I haven't seen them fight. And I don't know why he's why don't he just go put it, like he said, put a show on in Mexico. It's kind of like he's kissing ass for the race card stuff, now it's coming into the UFC, racially correct.
Like a big fan who's got a channel around fighting, and I love documenting my journey as a fan of martial arts and the UFC and MMA in general here on this channel. And then we've got Raul Rosas Jr., the guy who looks like a bulldog chewing a wasp. So you've got a bunch of Mexican fighters on here who the majority of them aren't even ranked. In fact, I don't think any of the Mexican fighters are ranked apart from the Birds. The main event doesn't include any Mexican fighters. The co-main event is a Mexican fighter in Alexa Grasso, but the female fights don't pull in any numbers. No one cares about the female fights, Mexican or not. So here are the top pound for pound Mexican UFC fighters. We got Yair Rodriguez. He needed to be on this card. We got Brandon Moreno. He probably should have been on this card. Who else? Guys, I think that might be it. That's it. Wow. No one else.
What we're going to pull off there will never be done again. Nobody's going to be willing to spend the money that
That's what I'm saying. How much
I'm not playing around with this. I am going in here guns a-blazing, and I'm going to blow everybody's mind with this.
Right, now, Dana came back on the show and he gave a few more updates about the Sphere event.
The Sphere has been an absolute beast. My production team is 24/7 on this thing. I love the Mexican culture and the Mexican people. They're all hard workers, how they support each other. And this is basically, like I said, a love letter to the Mexican people and their culture. And the challenge of this thing is
people. Why are you playing the race card, Dana? Fighters are fighters, no matter what nationality they are. This never came up before. This is a new thing, the UFC. So Dana is now getting indoctrinated into the New World Order plantation, racially correct pronouns, and he's going to start pronouncing fighters' pronouns and be identified as a woman when they're a man. And he's going to start is he going to start to go there, Dana? I thought you were just a connoisseur of martial arts and boxing, striking, and Muay Thai, and Jiu-Jitsu, and grappling, and wrestling. I don't know where this is all going, Dana, but I think this is the most delusional thing you've ever said.
we're the first sporting event inside the Sphere, and we're the first ones that are actually you're gonna be able to watch live from the Sphere. So there's a lot of different challenges as far as production goes. But what we really want to do is the people that are watching at home on pay-per-view, we want to give you that experience like you're there inside the Sphere.
Because the Sphere is the show. We're excited to see what you put behind the fights and how you kind of set it all up. Are those decisions, I assume, already made or no?
Oh, no. If those decisions weren't made, we'd be in big trouble right now.
Okay.
So, when the show starts, we're going to have the prelims, and then we're going to tell throughout the rest of the night the history of combat in Mexico. From the beginning of time and into the future. So the first fight of the night will start at the beginning of time.
Well, why are you doing this in Nevada? I don't understand. It's the United States, Dana. Why don't you just put a show on in Mexico and do that for them? I don't get it, man. What about all the other fans of other nationalities? I'm not sure why you're picking up the race card into UFC. It's the first time, I think. It's the most ridiculous thing he's ever said.
The main event will be the future of Mexico.
That's what you meant by love letter, and that's why whenever it was announced how many fights there were, some people are like, there's only this amount of fights. Well, that's because we're telling a story, and then I assume the fights are going to match just,
Love it.
oh!
So that's all he really says about the event. Basically, he's going to tell a story of the history of Mexican fighting. Purposes. There's loads of shady stuff that goes on with this type of stuff. So it makes me think, with how many seats that are left over, and we're only 2 weeks out, it might not be a sold out show. And then especially when you just look at who's fighting, no one notable is fighting. If we take a look at UFC 307, we've got Alex Pereira and Khalil Roundtree the month after, and this card is far more stacked than UFC 306. And when you listen to the way Dana's speaking, he's saying the Sphere is the event, the Sphere is the attraction. So he's kind of threw together this little quick, crappy fight card in hope that people will.
And Rumble, follow me on Rumble, Rocky the Dog Show. And please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching this content.